press! This week, 30-day furlough. This is Robert Richards of the United Press, reporting to the people of America on the men who are winning this war. The G.I. Joes, the boys of the infantry. Primarily, this is the story of what happens to a GI when he gets a furlough away from battle. But first, I want to tell you something about their life on the Western Front. And then perhaps you'll appreciate and understand what it means to them to get away from death, even for a few brief moments. What is a GI? Well, the Major summed it up when he told me.
Richards, the GIs in the infantry are the boys who take the worst beating of us all. The artillerymen help, the airmen are pretty comforting, and the tankmen certainly do their part. But nobody, and I want you to print this, Richards, nobody can have too much respect for the GIs. Not only do they have to knock out the Jerrys who are sitting pretty in their trenches, but they're out in the cold, rain, and mud, night and day, without a chance of shelter, except what the terrain offers, or their grim foxholes. Yes, sir. They're the boys who take the worst beating of us all.
Just to give you an example of the courage of a GI, I want to tell you about the night I watched them go forward in what the Major called a local action. It began at the stroke of midnight, when artillery in the rear opened up. For some 3 hours, the artillery hammered the Germans with some 2,500 tons of shells. And then suddenly, everything fell quiet. Ahead of me, the GIs raised silently from their foxholes and wriggled forward in the rain and mud toward the enemy.
Follow me, men. God help the man who takes his face out of the mud.
Right with you, Sarge.
Keep your eyes on the feet of the guy ahead of you. You won't get lost.
Okay, Sarge. Come on. Stay with me, buddy.
Shut up. Keep moving. Close it up.
Come on.
Close it up.
10 minutes passed, and then 15. And suddenly the nervous Germans fired a flare, and then another, and another, turning that dark and rain-swept battlefield into a sea of light. The attack was discovered. The GIs rose from the mud and charged head-on toward the first enemy objectives. My heart beat like a trip hammer as I watched them tearing forward 5 yards, 10, 15, 20. German machine gunners laid down a withering fire at ankle height, pitching hundreds of GIs head first into the line of fire. But others came up and took the objective at bayonet point, crashing their way through.
Come on, Tillerson! Get him! Get him!
Give it to him, boys! Run him through!
Come on, get it, you lousy crowds!
I can get up! Get up!
Yes, the GIs took that objective. Took it by sheer American skill and guts. Skill and guts. I stood there with the Major at an observation post. As the wounded were brought into the rear, one of the GIs was badly hurt. He lay there white as a sheet on a mud-caked stretcher. And when his feverish eyes fell on the Major, his face broke into a twisted smile. He mumbled through parched lips.
We took the objective, sir. We took the objective.
The Major turned to me and said,
God help that kid, Richards. God help that kid.
"See what I mean?" I say that nobody can have too much respect for the GIs and the infantry? Well, that was what the Major was thinking when he called me into his headquarters.
Richards, you've covered the operations of the Third Army for the United Press for a long time.
That's right, Major.
And you've given the folks back home a pretty good picture of what the boys here in Germany are going through for them.
Thanks, Major. I try to do that.
I know. And that's why I called you in today.
Yes?
Now, the GIs in my division have been fighting their way into Germany ever since D-Day. Many have been killed or wounded. A lot have been decorated. Our debt to the dead is victory and peace. Our debt to the others, well, we can't do much right now, but we can.
Yes, Major?
Well, now, at least we can give them a well-deserved rest.
Furlough to Paris?
Better than that, Richards. Better than that. A 30-day furlough home.
The Major was putting into effect the long-discussed 30-day rotation furlough plan. That is to say, sending combat-weary GIs home for a brief visit, to restore their perspective, give them a rest, a moment of peace and quiet, a chance to think. The Major, out of his contingent, selected 60 GIs and 5 officers as the first to benefit by the rotation plan. But how was he to break the news to these boys?
Well, Richards, I've made up my mind.
Yes, Major?
I'm going to break the news to the boys personally, one by one.
On the battlefield?
Exactly. I'm going out this morning and visit all of the foxholes. Oh, if you'd like to come along.
I'd like nothing better, Major. It'll be a pleasure.
What were you saying, Sergeant?
I said they ought to call this country the land of mud.
Yeah. When you say mud in your eye over here, it ain't funny.
Boy, what I wouldn't give for a 30-day leave.
I'll settle for 2 days in Paris.
You'll settle for this foxhole.
I know what you mean. Hey, say, Sarge, what's the difference between a foxhole and hell, huh?
You tell me.
It's easy. Hell has a dry climate.
You ought to know.
Hello, men.
hi,
How's
sir.
it going?
Hello,
Fine,
Lieutenant.
sir.
Right.
Thank you.
We gave them crowd so they can stand for a few days.
Yeah, but keep your eyes open, Sergeant. They may come back.
Yes, sir.
By the way, the Major's making the rounds this morning.
Oh, he shouldn't expose himself like that, sir.
You know the Major.
So long, boys.
Goodbye,
Bye-bye,
sir. Hey, we're lucky to have a guy like the Major. You said it.
I wonder what he's up to now.
Here he comes.
Hello, men.
Hiya, Major. Hello, sir.
At ease. You all know Robert Richards of the United Press?
Sure. Hello, Mr. Richards.
Hello, Sergeant. Hi, fellas.
Sergeant, I heard about the job you did against the Heinies the other day. Nice work.
Thank you, sir.
Well, now, let me put it like this. Which would you prefer? A second lieutenancy or a 30-day furlough home?
Why, I'd rather... Major, did you say a 30-day furlough home?
That's right, Sergeant. Of course, the commission is highly desirable. And if you want time to think it over...
I've already made up my mind, sir.
The commission?
No, sir. I'll take the furlough as a GI, sir. I want to go home. I want to see my wife and kid. Besides, when I get back, maybe I'll get another chance at that commission.
Maybe you will, Sergeant. Maybe you will. Well, good luck, man.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir. Sarge, lucky stiff.
Yeah, you wouldn't look good with gold bars on your shoulders anyhow.
Yeah. You know, I haven't started to believe it yet. I won't know how to act.
Hey, Major's coming back.
Uh-oh. Maybe he's changed his mind.
No, man, no. I haven't changed my mind. I just came back to tell you that you too can go along with the sergeant.
What? You mean...
Home?
Exactly. And by the way, Sergeant, that commission will be waiting for you when you come back.
Home? 30 days.
I'm gonna get married in 5 minutes. We're going home. You guys hear that? We're going home.
listening to United Press correspondent Robert Richards' dramatic eyewitness account of a 30-day furlough, the story of a GI's reaction to a furlough from the fighting front. Other UP correspondents are prepared to bring you first-hand accounts of fighting on the battlefronts the world over. You will hear them when they happen in this series soon. Be sure to listen. Meanwhile, remember to listen for United Press news on the air. Look for United Press dispatches in your favorite newspaper. They are your guarantee of the world's best coverage of the world's biggest news.